Hi, this is Lisa from Pretty Paper Pretty Ribbons, and I wanted to show you today how to use SVG files with your Silhouette Studio Designer Edition. You can only use SVG files in Silhouette Studio if you purchase the Designer Edition. But there's some little things you need to know about it to make your experience better, so I wanted to show those to you today. First thing you want to do is open a file, so you can open using this little button right here or go to File, Open. And when you navigate to your file, you might notice that it looks blank, but the only reason it looks blank is because it's only showing Silhouette Studio files, and I don't have any of those in that folder. So I want to click this down arrow here and go to SVG files. You'll only see this option if you have the Designer Edition. And now I have some files that have shown up. I'm using Pretty Paper Pretty Ribbons cutting files. This is the sea turtle from the Sea Life cutting files. And if you purchase files from my store there, you'll get SVGs in two separate formats. So I wanted to show you those two today and show you how to use them. So the first thing I'm going to open is this one that says Sea Turtle Separated. So I'll click that and click OK, and it brings this to my mat. If you'll notice in SVGs, my SVGs are always colored just to make them easier for you to figure out what color everything's supposed to be. And they'll be grouped together like this. Now I want to make sure I have a 12 by 12 mat, and I want it to fit on my mat. In fact, I want them to be about 4 inches tall. So I just clicked on this corner and dragged to make him a different size, and I can use my mat to measure about how tall he'll be. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's about 4 inches tall there. And if you'll see, if you click the separated, the reason it's called separated is because all of the colors are already separated for you on the mat. But the problem is, maybe I want them to be placed a little differently on my mat so that I can easily put a piece of dark green paper here or a piece of lighter green paper here to cut all of the pieces at once. But they're all grouped together. So first I need to click on it to make sure it is selected, and then go down to the bottom where it says Ungroup Selected Shapes and click on that. And when you do that, well, maybe not. Let me try again. If I do that, there you go. It separates each piece so you can move it around to a better place on your mat, so it's easier to measure your paper that you're going to cut. Alright, so these are white pieces right here. So I want to move them down here. And if you see, I'm clicking and dragging, holding down my left mouse button and dragging across to select all of those of the same color. And I just try to position them, like here I'm positioning it in a 3 by 3 square piece so that I can cut a 3 by 3 square piece of black paper, and then I can cut it from that. And I want these to be all together and him up in the corner. Alright, so I have all the pieces on my mat. If I were to go now to send a Silhouette and cut, nothing would cut, because the thing with bringing SVGs into Silhouette Studio is that there are no cut lines set. So what I want to do is highlight all the items on my mat and go up to this little scissors with the red line there to open the cut style window. And you'll notice it shows what is going to be cut in red, and there is no red here. So what I want to do is, and it even says no cut here, so I want to click on cut, and now it shows me that it's going to cut out all of the pieces where I want them to cut out. Then I can send it to my Silhouette and go through everything I would normally go through to cut out. My Silhouette's not connected right now. Okay, so that's how you would use the separated SVG files that comes with your Pretty Paper Pretty Ribbons cutting file set. Now I want to show you how to use the other SVG file. So I'm going to go open. Nothing shows up, so I have to go select SVG again and get just the sea turtle that doesn't say separated behind it. Click OK. I like using these sometimes because it shows me where everything goes, and I can see, like on the other one, I didn't necessarily see that there are little highlights that are going to cut out, but I can see that here. Now you can also see that on the preview that comes with the file, so it's just really your personal preference. If I click here, I can set my page to 12 by 12. Again, he's all grouped together, so I want to make sure he's the right size for me. About 4 inches. And I need to ungroup him down at the bottom. Sometimes you have to click it more than once. Alright. And now I can start separating the pieces and moving them to different parts on my map, places on my mat. And so I would do that, move it all around, and then once I've moved everything around where I want it, I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm going to not separate those, but you would separate them into different colors. I would have to do the same thing because this is a SVG file. I'd have to select everything, go to the cut style window, notice that it says no cut, and then go to cut to make sure all the pieces will cut correctly. Now, of course, I would want to make sure all these are separated out where they're supposed to be before I go cutting, or you'd get something really weird there. Alright, so pretty easy to use SVG files if you have the Designer Edition. And so I just wanted to introduce you to those little things that you have to do to make sure your SVGs cut out perfectly. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.